All right, we are roughly about 2 weeks away from a brand new starter deck releasing. Starter deck 14 3D Y2, I believe is what it's called. It is another black starter deck and it is another Luffy leader. In today's video, we're going to have a bit of a guide of some key cards coming out of that deck, some cards that you'll need to buy if you want to play this leader so you can play it at full power. And thirdly, we'll be looking at some winning lists or some ideal lists to play when the deck does come out. I'll try and have some timestamps, some chapters in the video for all of those topics. If not, just check the pinned comment for some extra information. All right, let's have a look at what the new leader looks like. So it is Monkey D. Luffy, as I said before, black mono leader, starts with 5 life. Now this is kind of like turning black's usual cost reduction on its head. So we look at the effect there. Don times 1, all of your characters gain 1 cost. If you have a character with the cost of 8 or more, this leader gains 1,000 power. So we're going to see a lot of that in this starter deck. A lot of buffing cost, not reducing cost, and not reducing your opponents or buffing your opponents, buffing your own characters. And a few characters that kind of work with some removal and cost reduction and protection when they're at certain costs. So we're on Eggman's deck builder here for One Piece. I'll leave a link to it in the description down below if you guys haven't seen this already, but we've got a look at what all the cards are here in the deck. We're just going to be looking at some key cards, not going to be going through all of them. When we get our hands on the deck, we'll have a deeper dive into all of the cards, but some key cards here. The first one that we have here is the Usopp, 3 cost, 4,000 body, 1,000 counter. Don times 1 when attacking. If you have a character with a cost of 8 or more, KO one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 4 or less. So a really good form of removal. Is a little bit slower because it is a when attacking, but a great form of removal in the deck. Next key card is Sanji. This is a super rare, so you're going to need to pick up 2 of these decks to be able to get a playset of Sanji. Sanji, 5 cost, 6,000 body. On play, if you have a cost 6 or greater character in play, carry one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. So we can see a few different levels there required to get a KO, and that we can KO with Usopp and Sanji. Next up, we're looking at Nico Robin, 6 cost, 7,000 body, 1,000 counter on play and when attacking. If you have an 8 cost or above character on the field, give one of your opponent's characters minus a 5 cost during the turn. So they'll be falling more into Black's kind of traditional playstyle of minusing stuff, but our other characters and our leaders' ability can help us to trigger Nico Robin's attack. So if she's at an 8 cost, that effect does trigger as well. Next, we're going to take a look at Frankie, 5 cost, 6,000 body, 1,000 counter, Don times 1 on your opponent's turn. If you have a 6 cost or above character in play, this character cannot be KO'd by opponent's effects and gains 2,000 power. Non-KOable, 8,000 body on your opponent's turn. Wild, very hard to remove when it is like that. So a great card to include in any deck that's running this. Next up for another key card here is the event, which has a giant name, Gum Gum Diable, 3 sword style, Mountain Jet 600 pound Phoenix Cannon. That's massive. It is a 2 cost event. Activate main, give your leader or one of your characters 3,000 power for the turn. Then if you have an 8 cost or higher character in play, KO one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 2 or less. So a good buff, but also you can KO some stuff. We saw the Robin before, minusing things by 5. You pair that with some of Black's traditional cost reduction stuff. You can remove a lot of stuff for just 2 Don, wild. And the trigger is if you have an 8 cost or higher character in play, you can KO something with cost of 5 or less. So all around a pretty good card. Next up I have my crew, 1 cost, draw a card. After this, you can buff one of your characters by a cost of 3 until the end of your opponent's next turn. So not just for your turn, the next turn as well. So it makes that Frankie's effect alive that we read before. The trigger is you can KO something with a cost of 3 or less. A 1 Don just to draw a card is already fantastic, but it gives you that buff and you can get some KO off the trigger. So a great card to include. The final key card we're looking at is the Stage. Cost you 1, buffs all of your black straw hats by 1 all the time, which is really good. And then on play, if your leader has a straw hat type, you can draw a card. So once again, 1 cost to draw is fantastic, but then you're getting a constant buff. So you can kind of like spam a few of these in one turn so you can draw multiple turns. It doesn't stack the buffing, but it does stack the drawing. Okay, next on this page here, my face is kind of hiding some of it, but we're going to be looking at some key cards you might want to pick up if you want to play this Luffy leader. So we got some of your staple like 2Ks that are used in a lot of the competitive builds for this leader. So you got your Suru, your one-leg toy soldier, and your Bart. All 2Ks, all kind of playset run in decks. So your Suru is a cost reduction, your one-leg toy soldier is also a cost reduction, and then your Bart is just a blocker. There's also a 2K, really handy to have. Carrying on the theme with cost reduction, we've got Kuzan, not running all of the competitive decks that are running this leader, but it is a great card. A draw a card and you get some cost reduction on attack, so fits in well with some of the other cost reduction stuff there, or your KOing cards. And the last of the cost reduction stuff here, we're running Ice Age. So this one is not running all of them, but is just a great card to have. We've seen its power in our current format. So one cost to minus something by 5 is absolutely fantastic. Pair that with the Robin we saw, you're going to be KOing everything. Everything's going to be at 0 then. And then some cards that help us with some removal. So we've got the Brook. Brook is a 3 cost 4,000 body. On play when attacking, you minus something by 1 cost, which goes in with those cards we just read, then you can KO something with a 0 cost. Brook is definitely run at a playset, if not close to a playset, so you're going to pick that up if you do want to run Luffy. Another card that's like semi a staple in terms of your removal, like your boss monster is usually going to be the Sabo or the Gecko Moria in this deck. Some I've seen kind of use a bit of both, run a bit of spice that way. But the Sabo, it KOs 2 things. You trash a card from your hand, KO something cost of 5 or less, and something that cost of 3 or less. So yeah, pick up your Sabos. They're fairly cheap right now. Probably not going to go up a whole lot with this Luffy. This Luffy's not super competitive leader, but you might see a rise in price early with this card, with this deck's release. Now in here we got Rebecca and Sabo. They're just great blockers for black, as well as the blocker Borsalino. They're probably fairly staple black blockers, but Rebecca and the Sabo are ones that are run quite a lot in builds that I've been seeing floating around. Rebecca, because it can help you recycle some of your lower cost stuff, help you play out the Brook as well for free. You can recycle basically anything in this here except the big boys here, and basically anything that we've seen in key cards as well. So Rebecca's quite handy. Sabo just helps you unbrick your hand as well. Now we know the power of Gecko Moria, so I said either your boss kind of character is the Gecko Moria or the Sabo, sometimes a bit of both. So yeah, Gecko anywhere from I guess 2 to a full play set is what you'll need if you want to run this Luffy. Now the Luffy here and the Brook here, so this Luffy and this Brook, they're kind of like the tech cards that you could include. Both of them have the clause of trashing something rather than KOing something, so it helps you get around cards that cannot be KO'd. Especially in a black mirror match, so these guys might be handy to pick up. They are low rarity cards, so they should be quite easy to get your hands on. Not all the lists I've seen are running either or both or any of these, but great tech cards, especially into certain matchups like your black yellow Luffy or the black mirror match. All right, we're jumping over to One Piece top decks. We're going to have a look at the only topping list for our current format that we'll first see. The OPO7 format. This is the list that did, I believe, take a first place here. So let's take a look at it. We've got the leader here. We've got 2 copies of Kuzan, helping with that cost reduction sort of stuff there. 4 copies of the Suru, which we mentioned before. 4 Sabos, which we mentioned is a key card. The 4 Bart blockers. Now this is where it's kind of interesting list here. It's running the Luffy. Now, this is the one that allows you to attack active characters, and then you can bottom deck 7 cards from your trash and be able to restand the Luffy and swing again. The Rebecca's a searcher they're running in this deck. So you can search out this Luffy off this Rebecca and some of your 2Ks like your one-leg toy soldier and your Bart. So I can kind of see how they're kind of running that there. You also get to search the Sabo as well. Most of the other cards here are not searchable off the Rebecca here, or the Mancherry, which they run a 1 of in this deck. You cannot search this Rebecca here, unfortunately, because this Rebecca says you can't search a Rebecca, but those other cards can be searched in, so I can kind of see what's going on here. I feel like this is, a wild choice. Obviously, it threw people off, and it's done great, but I think maybe for some consistency stuff, maybe the traditional Sabo or Gecko might be good, but look, it will top, so if you want to run this, go for it. Let me know how it goes if you do. We mentioned the Rebecca, 2 of Searcher, the 4 of one-legged toy soldier, the 1 Mancherry, 3 Rebecca in this list, 4 Brook helping with the KO, 4 Sanji, 4 Robin for the cost reduction. 4 of the novel of a name that buffs and KOs, the 4 of the draw and cost buffing, and then 4 of the stage. So this is an example of a winning list right here. We'll take a quick squiz at some winning lists for the next format, which we've got up here. So this is OPO8 format here. So you can see we're still running the Sabos, the Brooks, the big boy Sabos, the boss one here. We've got the 4 of the ghost buffing Luffy. Still 4 Sanjis, still 4 Robins, quite staple there. Luffy, this is a card we didn't talk about in the list. It's basically gets rush if you have a 10 cost or more, and that can include itself. And then we've got some newer cards down here, some OPO8 cards, and then still running 4 of the stage in this deck. Taking a look at another winning list from the OPO8 format. This one's running the Borsalinos, 4 copies, 4 Tashigis in this one, 4 Surus, 4 brand new. So brand new going more of a navy heavy kind of package there, which is why we're running the Tashigi there instead of the 1-leg toy soldier. We've got the 4 Rebecca, 4 Gecko Moria, fairly stable for some black decks. T-Bone as the other 2K because it is a navy searchable off the brand new. And then we've got a new card in the Luffy. Still got the Sanjis going here. Jack from OPO8, Hina from OPO8, and then still 4 copies of 1000 Sunny. Now, if we jump over to the sim here, this is kind of a list that kind of I'll be starting to muck around with initially, early stages with this deck, and then we'll give you an updated deck profile as we get closer to the release here. So we've got the Luffy here, full playset of Brook, the Surus from 2K counter, 3 Sabo, 4 Barts, 4 Toy Soldier. So we got a total of 12 2Ks in the deck, the 3 Rebeccas, the 3 Sabos, 2 Usops, extra form of removal, playset of Sanji for more removal, Robin for some cost reduction, Frankie because there's a sticky one there. Might experiment maybe just going more Usops in there, or maybe going more Frankies with our place testing there. A couple of Ice Age, a few copies of the Gum Gum. I need glasses to be able to read the name of this card, and then full playset of I Have My Crew and 1000 Sunny for all that draw power right there. And there you have it. There's our little look into the starter deck 14 3D Y2. I think that's the right order of me saying that. If you guys have any thoughts on the deck, let us know down in the comment section below. When the deck does release, we will be doing a budget profile and then a full profile as well. So keep your eyeballs peeled for that coming up soon. Thank you so much for checking out today's video. Stay beautiful, and we'll see you all in the next one.